People had survived. Yes, Thanksgiving is a family day celebrated with big dinners, family reunions. All happy Thanksgiving to you wherever you are. And certainly today we have a lot to be thankful for. What are you thankful for? I know you would like to tell me, but I know you will tell me what you're thankful for. But I would like to thank God for the Dr. Ernest L. Holloway Highway. And I'll be telling y'all that as I dedicate my program today to Dr. Ernest L. Holloway, the president of Langston University. Today's program is a very special program, and I want you to write these names down because there are some people in Oklahoma that want you to have a happy Thanksgiving. Ted Hamlin, located at 4101 Northwest 122nd Street. The telephone number is 755-9052. He says, Happy Thanksgiving to you. Rodale Hornbeak of Vance Motor Company in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Say, if you need a car, I want you to come to Vance, and I'll give you the deal that you will never forget. That's Vance Motor Company. And when you call down to Vance Motor Company, be sure and tell them about that outstanding car salesman, Rodale Hornbeak. Yes, this program that you're going to be so proud of today is brought to you by Ross Funeral Home, 2931 Northeast 36th Street in Oklahoma City. The family funeral home, a funeral home that has served Oklahoma for a large number of years. 424-4136. Today's program is brought to you by The Closet, Marie Petit, 1917 Northeast 24th Street. And she has some things on sale. I want you to go by there. Tell her you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. Today's program is a Thanksgiving program and is brought to you by Clarence Adams of Adams Barbershop, located at 1517 Northeast 23rd Street in Oklahoma City. Now, Adams has done something that's unique. He has brought in something new. Oh, I'm not going to tell you about it. I want you to go to 1517 Northeast 23rd Street and see it for yourself. This part of our program is our Thanksgiving special, brought to you by Temple Funeral Home, 2801 North Kelly in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Temple say they are the people that care about you. That telephone number is so easy. Temple Funeral Home, 427-8321. You want to buy a home? Don't worry. Call Carbon Real Estate. Carbon Real Estate, and Carbon will take care of you. He's been doing it for years, and he say call him at 427-8311, located at 1031 Northeast 36th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You want some barbecue? Tom's Barbecue is open at 2504 Northeast 10th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City consists of many things. But when you think of Oklahoma City, and when you think of progress, you've got to think of Charles Pollard, of Pollard Funeral Home, located 2626 North Post Road. The telephone number is 769-6719. And from all of us here, we say, have a great Thanksgiving. You know, I am so thankful. Most of all, I'm thankful for you because you're so kind to me. You're so sweet. You're so understanding of the things that I want to do. And I want to tell you about that highway. Yesterday, we rode down Dr. Ernest L. Holloway's highway. So we drove down 11 miles. Then we drove back. What are you doing? I'm driving down Dr. Ernest L. Holloway's highway. And you know what? Do you know what? There were some people out there to help him celebrate. If you were not out there, you missed something. But I better tell you about it so you will know something. Well, Dr. Holloway has been dreaming of that highway for a long time. He remembered so well the students who had lost their lives on that winding highway. Ardell Lee, Kobe Craig Johnston, James K. Scott, Ralph Bell, Ricky Lewis, Asheila's Burton, Katasha Lunsford, Alicia Northcutt, and Saritha Peterson. And he started out over 15 years ago saying, we're going to straighten this highway. And yesterday they told a story. They told a story of disappointments. But Dr. Holloway never gave up. He continued to ask everybody, be it senator, representative, county commissioner, what have you, let's straighten the highway. Let's straighten the highway. At one point, they considered making it a 4-lane highway, undivided, which would have saved a lot of money. But Dr. Holloway stood tall. He said, oh, no. Oh, no. Dr. Holloway's highway. And if you do nothing else, why don't you drive down Dr. Ernest L. Holloway's highway? Oh, it cost almost $7 million. It's one of the most expensive construction projects in Oklahoma. And Dr. Holloway stood there yesterday and gave credit to the people that had worked for him. But all eyes were on Dr. Holloway. Mrs. Watch Stester presided yesterday. The band standing up on a hill like on that south of the highway, and they played under the direction of Albert L. Jackson. And then Miss Langston University, Jessica Lowe, sang the national anthem, and by some magic, everybody joined in with her. That was a thank you prayer by the chaplain, Dr. Eric Anthony Joseph. And Claude Evans, Dr. Claude Evans, who has made history by becoming the first veterinarian in Okemah, Oklahoma, stood there and welcomed everybody. He's a member of the Board of Regents for Oklahoma State University and the A&M College. Dennis Howard, the Secretary of Agriculture, introduced all of the guests. The Secretary of Transportation, Phil Tomlinson, was there. Former Congressman who made the motion to name that highway, Dr. Ernest Holloway, was there and spoke. The ex-governor, the former governor of Oklahoma, Frank Keaton, flew down from Washington, D.C. to be a part of it. Senator Mike Morgan. But the Black Caucus was represented by Representative Opio Toure of District Number 97. The president of the Student Government Association, Vanessa McLaughlin, spoke. And then there was a solo by that past graduate of Dungy High School, Holly Strumo. Look where we have come. You know, oh, what a voice. And finally they all stood there. Gary Ridley, Governor Frank Keaton, President Holloway, Dr. Edward Jones, Dr. Jean Mannings, and Mrs. Angela Watson. And there it was revealed to the audience that beautiful sign which stated Dr. Ernest L. Holloway Highway. And we went wild. We cheered. Oh, I wish you had been there. But I tell you who was there. Dr. Holloway's sisters, Dr. Holloway's friends. But, and his sons were down. Calvin, you were there. What do you think? What's your thinking on as we drove down Dr. Ernest L. Holloway's Highway?
Well, Mom, I'm going to have to save that thought because, first of all, I have to say good morning to you. Such a thrill, such a pleasure to be alive and well and in beautiful living color, especially here in this beautiful Blue Room. It's been a long time since we've been back here in the Blue Room at KTLV. And I hope by now that you've called your friend, you've called that neighbor.
Oh, they have, Kevin.
I hope they have. If they haven't, I'm giving them an opportunity now because I'm going to brag a lot during the course of this radio show, and we have a lot to brag about. And we have a lot to brag about. Not only there at Langston University or on the way to Langston University, not only about yesterday's activities, but then we can also brag about the activities and the things that happened there in Coral, Oklahoma. We can brag about the good things, the great things that have happened in high school football here in Oklahoma City. We can brag about just you listening to the Clara Luper radio show this morning. Good things are going to happen because we will be getting around to giving away the chitterlings. We will be getting around to talking about giving away the turkey. We will get around to giving away the ham. But most importantly of all, this is a season to be thankful for. And on behalf of my part of the Clara Luper radio show and Studio 75 and Allstate Insurance and April and Merlin and our entire family, we want you to have a happy Thanksgiving. We want you to have a Thanksgiving not only where the food is plentiful and bountiful, but where in your heart, deep within your heart, that you have shared with the rest of the world the blessings that you have coming, that you have had over this past year. But good things are happening. Great things happened yesterday. I was so proud. And I made the mistake, Mom, and don't ever let me do that again, of sitting next close to Mrs. Bennett, who's Dr. Holloway's sister, at a time like that. And
who wouldn't be proud, Calvin? He's a country
there,
boy from Boley, Oklahoma.
Boy.
Yes.
Country boy. You can't tell he's country no more.
that Dr. Ernest.
He's worked the country out of the country. But one thing he hasn't done, he hadn't forgotten whenceforth he'd come.
That's
because
right.
There were limousines. There was a limousine there. There was a charter bus load of people there. And he called it his Muskogee contingency, Ofusky County. And I laughed, and then I got to thinking. I looked there on the podium, and I said, all of these people that are here, all of the names that you call off, these are people that have come not from the pavements of Oklahoma City, not from the tenements of Chicago, Milwaukee, New York City, the L.A., but these are people that have come from the basics of Oklahoma. These are young men, young ladies. I looked there was Mrs. Reese, who's one of the best band directors.
Avalon Reese and her
best band
group.
directors
Oh, she was sharp
ever.
Boy, beautiful.
You know, at Douglas High School, we look forward to seeing the Muskogee Manual, I forgot the Bulldogs. That's what they were. Seeing them come over in that purple and white, and Miss Reese had that band together not only one year but every year, the whole thing. But and then I looked over to the side there, and there was the representative from the Board of Regents. There's Claude Evans. This is a young man, black young man from the country, if you want to call it country. But he was there, and there on the stage on the regent for the Oklahoma. And then I looked on the other side there, And there was you, and then I looked at Miss Bennett, and then there was another lovely young lady sitting next to Mrs. Bennett, and everybody. I said, you know what, Calvin? I've taken, and I got personally, and I've taken so much for granted because of the fact that I was fortunate enough to be born in a hospital, being born near a stoplight, and had an opportunity to go to some good schools. Haven't been behind a plow, even though I didn't have to stay behind the plow, even though you gave us that experience, which I got to fuss with you about that one day too. Being behind a plow and picking cotton and all that, not for a living, but for that valuable experience. But these were people that have done it and have gone a long way, and know the value of education, and know the value of what an education would do for you. And I was so proud. And then I thought about that curved highway when the years we were going to Langston, years I was at Langston, and how many people got hurt trying to get to school on time, or either trying to get back to school so they wouldn't be too late. But then I thought of a friend of mine that had a Renault Dauphine, and that Renault Dauphine, there was 5 people in the car. That Renault Dauphine hit that curve, it turned over, the driver got hurt, broke his back, the passenger got hurt, I think broke both his arms, the back seat passenger broke a leg, a person in the back seat broke a leg, and to this day, they're still limping because of that curve. But see, Dr. Holloway was he
straighten that curve.
He straightened that
But
curve
Calvin,
out.
talk about that reception. Oh,
I'm not.
I had the opportunity to be.
Let's say the
excluded.
reception.
No, we're gonna talk about that reception.
That's too much.
That reception was out
Let's
of
talk
sight.
about what Governor Keating said when Governor Keating was first coming into office, and he was the commencement speaker there at Langston that year. I don't have the exact year, but Governor Keating's first year in office, he was the commencement speaker at Langston University. And that was the year our cousin Malachi graduated, Malachi
Okay,
Brown.
Calvin, I got to
But
talk
Governor
about that
Keating
reception.
said that we're going to straighten out this highway. He
And
didn't say
and he
I.
did.
He didn't say they. He
He
said we.
and
are going to do
we've
that.
done it.
And
But
we've
that
done it.
reception was hosted by Dr. Gene Manning, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ebert L. Jones, Vice President for Student Affairs, and Mrs. Angela Watson. Calvin, you're going to talk about that reception. Let's just talk. Let's take the people through. The reception was in that beautiful
How can we adequately describe
Gales
a reception?
Fieldhouse.
How are we going to describe that on the
Okay,
radio? So we can
forget
feel it?
everything you've ever
Forget
seen.
everything
Be
you-
it at the Marriott, be it anywhere. Nobody
At the-
can touch it. And
let's see.
oh my gosh.
Comparable to it, I think the thrill,
what
the
can
thrill
we
of the
cut?
reception. Let's start from going into the new gymnasium and realizing that you're there in a new, beautiful building, and
Yeah, the CF Gales.
CF Gales building.
Fieldhouse.
Okay, well,
Call it a
call it
fieldhouse.
what you want to,
Okay.
because I'm waiting on the lounge to do some winning to fill up that trophy case. And as you pass by a
Okay.
trophy case, and then you turn there, and there's some nice, outstanding music going on. I
Oh,
didn't
that
get the
music.
names of the 2 people that were playing there, but they were part of that Langston staff, and it was beautiful. And what I liked about it, that they weren't playing that rap music, they weren't playing that other kind of music, but it was something relaxing, something enjoyable. I think it was
And soft enough
reception.
to enjoy.
Yeah, reception music. The tables, how can you describe a table with all those different kind of foods on there? I especially love the little Spanish things that are folded in the triangle. Then there was that was my special part of it. And then I thought about I can think of the roast beef that was so tender.
Oh, and that turkey. Oh,
and the
my
turkey
gracious.
breast that was so tender.
But what was
And then
did you notice those 2 young men that were during the cutting?
I talked to them because of the
my
fact
gracious.
they helped cook that food. See,
Oh my
they
gracious.
did their part of it, and they were not only proud to be there serving it, but then they had prepared it. But then let's see, we're getting a little ahead
Okay,
of
I'm
ourselves
sorry.
now, because we can talk about the way the punch was served.
Oh,
That was beautiful.
oh
We
my
can talk
gracious.
about those young students who were coming out. I don't know what their majors were, but evidently it had to do something with food management. and there they were coming out making sure that everything was perfect. Now that other table where they had the little meats wrapped in bacon and the little meats, what was that other little special deal? It was fantastic. And then we can talk about the desserts.
Oh
Man,
my
I never
goodness.
tasted any desserts that melt in your mouth that smooth. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful, and arranged
then-
so beautiful. I've been to receptions at the
But
United
then I
States
found out a
Senate,
little
no,
about
but
that,
nothing
man.
like that. That was something that was unbelievable. And,
Right.
oh,
So,
Calvin,
kinda call
and
me
those
a-
of you that missed,
I want to brag on the chef out there. I want to brag on that whole
I want to
staff.
brag. And then when
And then-
Dr. Holloway walked into that reception, we went wild, and people missed it. Now, one thing I would like to say, and I know what you're going to say about me. You say Clara's always criticizing. I'm not criticizing. I'm just reporting. One of the biggest events in the history of this state
Let's
occurred
finish talking
yesterday.
about the food.
No, I'm gonna talk about.
Don't get to that part
Okay.
yet, because the appetites are.
No,
I'm still
talk about the
bragging.
food.
I still
but
want to brag on
but
what,
let me tell you
Langston
what.
University staff did out there.
Let me tell you what. You bragged on them.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, the people in Oklahoma, something. I want to refresh your memories. When a young man by the name of Brad Henry was running for governor of the state of Oklahoma, he came to
Brad Henry.
yes, the
Oh,
governor
that's
of
the
the state of
governor.
Oklahoma. Well, Brad Henry promised black folks something. He got a majority black vote, and I'm sure he's aware of that. But yesterday, when the Ernest Holloway Highway was open, he was not there. I can understand him being busy, but I know there are enough assistants there for somebody. I didn't hear anything from the governor's office, and I think that's a disgrace. I think the governor owes an apology to the people of Oklahoma, both
Well,
black and white.
Yesterday, November the 19th, was a special day, one. And you must realize that Governor Henry is getting ready to start his
Getting ready to
term
do something.
and all that. And there
But I can
must
say
be a
one
reason
thing.
for it. You know, I'm
It's
come
no
to
excuse for the governor of Oklahoma not being there yesterday. Not only
or a
that,
representative.
not only that, Calvin.
Okay.
The Honorable Representative Calvin Cox was not there. Senator Munson was not there. And the newly elected representative, Mike Shelton, was not there. What I'm saying basically, how are
Well,
we
what
going
about
to...
from the Tulsa area?
From the Tulsa area, they were not there. They are elected now, so they don't have to come around those of us that are black. But I can say to you, black elected officials, you would not have your behind sitting in that Capitol if it had not been for the NACP, the educators, and what have you. So you can say what you want to, and Governor Brad Henry is going to have to realize that. In fact, I'm calling him in the morning because I want to look him straight in his eyes and tell him exactly what I think.
Well, you
because
can do that,
he
Mom.
could have sent a representative. Not
You can do
only
that.
that, we didn't have any television stations out there.
Now that's
Now,
what,
if
that's
we
what
had
got
been,
that's what got
if somebody
me.
had been fighting out there, ABC, NBC, CBS, everybody would have been out there. And I had the opportunity
Well, there
to
was
call.
a fight.
There
was a fight
What
going
kind
on.
of fight?
The fight that was going on there was fighting for freedom. The fight for freedom was actually going on
And
there.
freedom
There was
is
a fight.
education.
It was a fight for
Okay,
education.
Calvin, we have
It was a
somebody that we
fight.
got to talk
It was a
to.
fight for right. It was a fight for understanding
why the
and
Democrats can't
maintaining
win,
your
because
principles.
they don't
Because Dr. Holloway,
understand.
he had to fight for that highway.
Yeah,
He
yes,
had to
but it
fight
was a
for
Republican
everything
that
has
led it.
happened.
He-
Well,
Hello?
I'm not thinking of the party, but
I know
we'll go
you
to
aren't
the
thinking
call.
of the party,
I'm
but you
thinking
need to
of the
look at
fight
facts
that Dr.
sometimes.
Holloway.
Look at the facts in
and-
the case. The
Okay.
fact in the case is the governor of Oklahoma did not come to the Dr. Ernest
Well,
L. Holloway Highway
I'm certain that he
dedication.
knew about
Okay,
it.
Calvin, we have someone on the line. Hello?
Hello, Miss Luper.
Yes.
This is Arlene Barr, your friend. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine.
I like your program. It's one
She
I
made
always
sure
do.
she said
You
your
said
friend.
something that's in my favor. You said Mrs. About this beautiful clothes Mrs. Miss Weekly had. Yesterday was my birthday. Tell Cab I'm a spanker. I didn't call him.
Oh,
But
I
I had
got
on an outfit from Miss Weekly's closet, and I just got so many comments on it.
Oh, you will when you go
yeah, I
there.
went to the doctor, and I think and I went out to the nurse home for what my daughter is, and they just thought I was so pretty, which it was 3-piece. I've had it quite a while, but anything come out of Miss Weekly's closet, it is beautiful, okay?
All right.
All
Okay.
right, I got a leather suit there in John Temple. That's been 94. I love it. leather suit, Miss Bar. So it took me 2 years to pay for it, but I want you to know I stand behind Miss Wheat. Because I have brought us quite a few things there, and I still do, and I love them. And I tell you what, you never said another thing about Adam's Barber Shop. I was there yesterday, and I got my hair cut and got my eyebrows washed, and my eyebrows washed, and I love it. I'm going to tell them about what you said about
paid
it.
advertisements.
Okay.
So I'm going to get off here, Miss
Thank
Luper,
you.
so
Just
y'all
tell him
have
it
a
like
blessed
it is.
Thanksgiving, okay?
Tell Calvin your name so he can sing birthday, because he's going to really sing today.
Oh, I'm practicing. I know who you are, Sister Bar, right?
All right, you better
Okay.
say that. Okay, I want you to know I love all of y'all, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you
Okay.
too, and thanks so much for patronizing those businesses on the east side of
you all's
Oklahoma
program,
City.
Calvin, is quite interesting. It's somebody that's touching, and you all mean what you say.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you so very kindly.
All right,
But,
bye-bye.
Mom,
Okay.
you're talking about the governor, but then
Sure, I'll
Opio,
talk about the governor.
Opio
Why not?
Toure was
Opio
there.
did a beautiful job yesterday. Opio stood tall at Langston University.
now that's saying something. Say that again. Opio standing tall.
Yes, he
You
stood
know, he's a little
tall.
short guy. But
And-
Opio
and
did, but
he
what
did
he
a terrific
said,
job.
because Opio is a graduate of Langston University.
And so is
And-
some other people that was not out there. And I
Opio
say it loud,
understood
I
the
want to
need.
say it clear. I think Governor Brad Henry, a Democratic governor, should have sent somebody out there if he was too busy to come. And I'm going to ask him why. Now, some of you that ran around and you politicked around for the governor, and I tell you somebody else who does a lot of talking. A great politician, John Pettis, was not there. And he had been out there trying to get people to vote.
Frank
for a
Keating was
certain-
there.
Frank Keating
And
was
I
there.
have to compliment him because he kept his word.
Yeah.
And Dr. Holloway and the other representatives that were there, the Oklahoma representatives, they let you know that Frank Keating was behind that highway bill, getting that money out there to do it. And even though Dr. Holloway would call him every day, he said,
Well, that's the way to do it. And I think people, all
say
of you that work
that-
for the governor,
he
you
said
should
that-
call them and
he
ask
said
them
that
why.
president from Langston University is on the line again.
And so he couldn't turn his back for the
his back
president.
on it.
Well, if you want to
Because
get
you know
something
what?
done, you have to go after it.
Dr.
Yes.
Holloway has a dream. And his dream is
He told you yesterday,
it's part of Martin Luther
What did he
King's
tell?
dream.
What did he tell you yesterday? You know, Dr. Holloway participated in the sit-ins, a live member of the NACP, a dedicated president that has taken Langston University and made it one of the
Oh,
most
my
beautiful
goodness.
universities
Did
in
you notice that
Oklahoma.
all of the buildings out there are being utilized? At the
And the
grassland.
Well, Calvin, let's
When we
not
were out
tell the
there,
people about it.
you have to go out to Langston University now, see it yourself. You can take that new highway, well, that Dr. Holloway highway, and come right up to the
Oh,
campus.
just ride down it
and,
so you
and then
can
go out there
have
and
that
look at
black
the
experience.
stadium.
Calvin, I got to
And
give
you know,
away
we
some
missed a
chitlins.
lot doing doing homecoming because we were there as a part of the activities with the catfish and Miss Merlin's gumbo, but had an opportunity to look at that stadium and to see how beautiful it is. Had an opportunity to look at that grass.
Okay,
See how
Calvin.
pretty
Now
that is.
we've talked about
And look
Langston
at the
University.
scholars'
I've got
ends
to give away
at
chitlins, a
that.
ham, and a turkey because I have a Thanksgiving message that you've been waiting a whole year for,
Well-
and I know you're going to enjoy this Thanksgiving message.
Well, Mom, let me keep bragging because of the fact that
You-
yesterday, and this is ironic. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but there was a young lady that's a student at Langston University. Now, I remember when she was born, and one of the good thrills, one of the best thrills that I've ever had was watching her go into the she's a student at Langston. She stays in Young Hall, and she was getting ready.
What's
for
her name?
I'm not going to tell you her name just yet. I'll tell you a little later because if Miss Taplin knew I was going to talk about it, she'd probably turn off the radio because she's so proud to be a Langston student.
Oh, well,
And then I
everybody's
looked
proud to
at
be
it,
a Langston student. Show your proudness.
And, well, you know, I went over to Young Hall and talked to her and then watched her go into one of the buildings there, preparing herself, being prepared for a test. And I got to think, years ago, 18 years ago, this poor child wasn't even born good.
Now she's at Langston
Now she's
University.
at Langston at
Calvin,
a
I've got to
time
give away
like
some
this.
chitlins.
Mom, don't nobody want no chitlins.
Oh,
out there.
what are
gonna do
you
with
talking
some
about? See,
chitlins?
you're trying to get away from our heritage. That's why black folks live so long.
Well,
When George Washington
I bet
threw
our
the
first
guts of hogs away. My forefathers had sense enough to take and wash those guts and make chitlins out of it. And last time I was in New York City, I went to buy some chitlins, and they were $17 a plate. When you get, I didn't order them though, because I was coming back to Oklahoma.
That's a wise
On
move.
January
You
the
must be a
8th,
Langston graduate.
sure, on January the 8th, 2005, we will present the Dred Scott story. It's no secret Dred Scott is one of my favorite characters in American history. Dred Scott. And I've written a play and a little book about Dred Scott. That's January the 8th of 2005 at 7 p.m. at Quail's United Methodist Church in the Fellowship Hall, located at 5001 North Everett Street in Oklahoma City. The tickets will go on sale today. Now, for the next weeks, I shall be asking 5 questions about Dred Scott. I want to see what you know about him, because the Dred Scott story is so similar to what we are facing today. The first question.
Oh, wait just a
What?
minute, Mom. Let me make sure my pen is working because
Okay, the
when,
first
when they
question.
answer the question, they answering it on there, right?
Right.
They will win
We're giving
a
away
form
chitlins
that
first.
says
That's right.
that you may go to Hometown IGA, who's one of our sponsors here, and there you pick up your chitlins.
Right.
Don't call Clara, Luper, don't call Calvin, don't call Merle saying
But
I
you
want
have
my
to get that
chitlins.
certificate, and
But
we'll
you
be
have to
giving
get
away
that
tomorrow.
certificate, and
Okay,
we'll have that available
here's the first
for you.
question.
Mom, don't nobody want to hear that first
Well,
question.
they do.
Ask the second question.
Okay, I'm going to ask the first
I'll
question.
do the second.
Where was Dred Scott's first case heard? Where was Dred Scott's case first heard?
Okay.
The second question.
No, shouldn't you give us a little more information
No,
about
I'm
Dred
not going
Scott?
to give you any more information.
Where was his
How many
case
years
first
did
heard?
it take Dred Scott's case? How many years was it from the date that the suit was filed until it was heard in front of the Supreme Court?
Okay,
The next question. No, I'm going to ask all my questions, and they
all these
can answer one. Okay. How many judges heard the Dred Scott case?
how many Supreme
Judges.
Court justices?
Supreme Court justice heard the Dred Scott case.
Okay.
The next question. Who was the president of the United States during the Dred Scott case? Now, I've asked you all of those, and then the next questions will
That's
be quite
5
different.
questions, Mom. You have a very intelligent listening audience. I know that everybody's sitting there with their pen and paper.
Tell them
They're
the
trying to-
telephone number. Just tell them the telephone number, Calvin.
I've not a gallon, $1.79 a
I
gallon.
better ask another. And how old was he when he went to the Supreme Court? Since you're
How
so
many
smart?
people judged him in the Supreme Court?
Because if you understand the Dred Scott case, you can understand the Ada Loisipia case, the Plessy versus Ferguson, the Linda Brown case. But unless you understand that case, you will walk around not understanding American history. Okay.
672-1220 is the number. I think after our first 1 or 2 winners, we'll move on further into the show, right?
Okay, well, this portion.
This is the Clara Luper Radio
It
Show.
is the Clara Luper Radio
Calvin,
Show.
you don't
And-
not running nothing but your mouth.
Oh, yes, Calvin, you're running more than that. You're the
Okay.
backbone. You're the
Uh-huh.
apples in my apple pie. You're my...
Uh-oh, here comes some
Firstborn
of that
son.
Hoffman jive on me.
Okay, that's okay. But this portion of our program is brought to you by Robert Gates of Gates Barber Shop, located at 2609 North Martin Luther King. Well, you don't have to wait. You can go in and get your hair cut. And guess who's there doing it?
Phil is there.
All
no?
right, all right.
Philip Gates, not just Phil, the Philip Gates.
Johnson Shardina, 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's the daycare center that people are still talking about. One of the oldest daycare centers in Oklahoma. Johnson Shardina's, owned by that lovely Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mr. Paul Matthews. That telephone number is 424-4656. Brought to you by Allstate Insurance Company, 730 North Britain Road in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 8430811. And what kind of insurance? What kind of
Dred
insurance?
Scott. If Dred Scott was alive today, I know that he would be a customer would be one of the customers with Allstate Insurance,
Okay,
especially
Calvin,
with
we have an
Merle
answer
Hilger's
coming in.
office,
We have an answer.
730 West Britain Road. And Dred, if you were alive today, we would take good care of you because at Allstate you're in good hands with the best agent and the best coverage. And we recommend, we suggest highly that you call Merle and Hildred, 843-0811. And if April's not there, talk with Merle. And if Merle's not there, talk with Anthony. If Anthony's not there, I might talk with you. But
Okay,
no matter
Calvin,
what,
we have somebody on the line.
672-1220 is the number. We want to hear more about Dred Scott Poe, Dred. I wonder how much he would sell for.
Okay, well,
today.
we aren't hypocritical. Hello?
Good morning. Thank you for being a part of the Clara Luper Radio Show. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
You're slow, baby. Come on, tell us. Good morning. How you
Dred
doing?
Scott decision was handed down in 1857.
1857.
That's
Dred-
good.
that's
You've
good.
answered one. What
Okay.
is your name?
Loretta McLean.
Loretta.
Mrs.
I'll
McLean,
tell
all
you.
right.
All right. And you
All
were wrong.
right.
You some chillings, Loretta.
All
First
right,
winner
thank
for the year
you.
go,
Okay,
Sister
thank-
McLean.
Okay.
Way to go. You know the procedure. You will get a form. We will
Okay.
send it to you if you hold on.
Oh, we get it out. Let's get
Lex
these
will
other
get your
questions.
phone
because
number.
we got-
I mean, you
got
get
to
your
get
address
my-
and all that.
Okay. This is the
See, right here is the crucial time in the show. Let's make sure that when you win, that you stay on the line long enough for us to get
Get
your
the
address,
Well, they are
and your
doing that,
phone
Calvin.
number. Well, they're
know
not
that.
doing it yet because Mrs. McLean is the
Oh,
first
we know
winner.
Miss McLean's
We
address.
know that, but then we want to set a
Chuck.
good
Okay,
example.
let's see the next one. Here, you better hurry.
Well,
Because
Mrs.
I'm
McLean, don't
cut
worry
down.
about it. We have yours.
Okay, hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
George Washington was the president.
Oh, boy, you better shut up. You better shut your mouth.
Goody,
You're
goody.
messing up my show.
I know that voice, but I'm not going to call his name.
I'm not going to
I
call his
don't wanna
name.
embarrass
I don't
you.
want to know his name. Come talking about
George Washington.
Dred Scott, the most important case in American history.
Yeah, I have.
We have a
Miss
number.
McLean.
This
Thank you,
is
Miss
the Clara
McLean.
Luper radio
But we
show.
had a
and I want you
winner.
to stay tuned.
We had a winner.
We had one winner,
One good winner.
but I put those questions out. Well, anyway, we had a winner yesterday. I wrote down Dr. Ernest L. Holloway. Let me tell you something. On last Monday night, the NACP Youth Council gave a dinner party for the president, senior president, for the president of the senior branch NACP. It was something that was out of sight. Don't take my word for it. Ask the people that were there.
And Roosevelt Milton.
Oh, Roosevelt.
That was his
Milton.
birthday. That
Yeah,
wasn't it?
no, but his birthday was the 19th, and you better sing him happy
Okay.
birthday. But it was a party that was out of sight. Oh, I'm telling you, the tables were beautifully decorated by Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mrs. Kizzy. It was something. Black
You got to
and
talk about
sunflowers.
the.
But I
You
just
gotta
want to know
brag
some
on
more
the
about
food there.
Dred
That
Scott.
food was good, but it was close to the goodness of the
Oh,
food
it was
there
a
at
different
Lake
kind of.
Funeral.
That
It
food
wasn't.
was
It
out
wasn't
of
quite
sight.
presidential food, but it was good food.
It was not a reception after. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and I want you to call a friend and tell them that. In the next 5 minutes, you will hear our Thanksgiving message. And I want you to remember that message, because out of that message will come my next 5 questions. I ask you, how much did Dred Scott's master pay for him? You're a history student. You're a teacher of history. Well,
how
anyway,
did they determine the worth of slaves back then? How could you?
Kevin, you got to do some research. I'm not going to tell you, but one thing. If you want a ticket to the Dred Scott story, written by Clara Luper, and I wrote that story. I did research. I went to St. Louis. I went to the Library of Congress. I just searched that story. And what we don't do as historians is take the other side of people. In your history books, you just say Dred Scott, a slave. Didn't say anything about his family or anything.
Dred Scott had a family?
Of course he had
How
a
can a
family.
slave have a family?
Oh, they know how to jump the broom.
They know how to.
This is Clara
Master
Luper.
don't know what we
Hello,
do.
this is Clara Luper.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Thank
Good
you for
morning.
being a part of the Clara Luper radio show.
Yes, I was calling to try to answer one or two of the questions. Do
Okay.
you have to answer all 5?
No, just
No,
answer
just
one.
Okay, and one said
Try one.
it was the Missouri Supreme Court.
No, it was not.
Thank you for
That
being a
handed
part
down
of
the
Clara.
decision. Are you
It's like-
saying
No,
that?
it's the United States Supreme Court, but it started in Missouri.
You're exactly right. And what is
Uh-oh.
your name?
I'm Doris Jones.
Oh,
Doris
Doris,
Jones,
how
you
you
just
do-
won you
hey.
some chitlins. And
Oh, well, thank you very
I will
much.
see you. We got your address, and you don't have to give
Okay.
it to us. We know
Okay,
that.
thank
Okay.
you.
Well,
Okay.
2 of my questions have been answered. I
Way
don't
to
have
go,
but 3
Doris.
more, and I have about 4 minutes for you to answer those
I was
questions.
kind of getting a laugh there. I thought she was talking about the Missouri Supreme Court.
No, but
But,
she
but
didn't.
she
You know,
didn't.
she's from
That's where
Texas.
She's,
And you know how those
she's
Texans
from
are.
Oklahoma City. She's
Okay.
a St. Anthony baby.
Where was the governor yesterday? The governor wasn't thinking about you black folks. and
Well, no,
some
you
of
can't
your-
say that, Mom. Now, don't be
I
talking
said
about...
I think. Now,
No,
nobody can
because
sue me
he
for
could-
what I'm thinking.
He could have been in consultation.
He could have sent a message,
Well,
and
he
there
might
was a
have-
message,
he
and I
could've-
saw General
he and-
Davis
he and-
out
he
there,
and
Daniel
Shelton.
out there.
He and Shelton and Angela.
Or maybe they
and
were all
all together
getting
at
ready
the same
for.
place.
Maybe they're
Getting-
still crying about that big defeat that the Republicans gave them. Hello, this is
I ain't seen
Clara.
nothing. That one Republican
Hello.
kept his word.
Hello.
Yes.
The president was Franklin Pierce.
Oh, but get off there. Isn't that something?
Isn't that something?
A poor Franklin
Poor
Pierce.
Franklin
President Pierce, I apologize to you, and I'm sorry that somebody uttered those bitter words on this radio program. You need to see
No.
the Dred Scott story.
You
If
need to
people
see
need to
Dred
know,
Scott.
see what they
See.
try to do. They try to understand history in bits. You cannot understand the Linda Brown case, the Plessy versus Ferguson, the Ada Lloyd Scipio case, unless you understand the Dred Scott case. Now, those of you that don't know it, I would like to invite you to go to your library and read and do some research so you can understand the cases.
Well, Mom, I'm still bragging about Langston University because
Well,
I'm
I
looking.
dedicated my program
Oh, no,
to
okay,
Dr.
well,
Holloway.
I'm
And
looking at the
what
list
was
of
that lady, that
accomplishments.
91-year-old lady that told us how she had seen God?
How she sees God every day
Yes.
in the other person's face, and how she
And a
can
smile.
see God in the leaf on the tree and the sand beneath her feet. Oh, it was touching. But then she's a part of Langston, and I'm going to get her name.
91 years old.
92.
Well,
she
just
said.
tell
But
Miss
Mom,
Bennett
let me
to call
brag.
you.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
see the fox yesterday?
I
That
saw
fox
the fox.
was
I saw
something.
the
Oh,
fox.
my
But
goodness.
let me brag a little more on what Dr. Holloway has done since he's been at Langston. I'm going to mention some of his first. Like, during his tenure as president, he's instituted a program called Mr. Langston University. That's a first for the men at Langston. There's
Okay,
a
Calvin, I'm
campus
sorry,
TV
but
station.
I have to cut you off because
There's
somebody,
the endowment. There's the
somebody wants to
McCabe
talk to
graduates.
us.
There are master's graduate
Okay,
programs.
somebody on there
Her
wants to talk
physical
to us.
therapy undergraduates. All this
Okay.
Dr. Holloway has done.
Okay.
But then this is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Thank you for being a caller because we're bragging on Langston and we're proud of Dr. Ernest L. Holloway Highway.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
James McKinney.
Who?
James
James
McKinney.
McKinney.
No, it
James-
wasn't no McKinney.
McKinney.
Express.
So let me finish
Okay,
bragging on
okay,
Dr. Holloway.
okay.
McKinney.
Oh, no, bye. Bye.
Dr. Holloway has instituted the
Okay.
first nursing degree program for undergraduates there at Langston. He's instituted a new
I'm
telecommunications
sorry,
course.
Calvin.
He has honorary degree program for Langston. There's a wide area telephone calling. You know, that was a problem at Langston. You know, Langston
Yes,
used to be
Calvin.
long distance.
But the time
And
has come for us to turn our attention to something that's deeper than anything that we have ever heard. Thanksgiving time is a time when people gather, when people listen, when people get down on their knees and thank God for the blessings
Thank you.
that He has bestowed on us. And certainly today, I would like to thank God for the people that I have known through the years, the smiles that you have given me, the handshakes. And today I have with me a young man that I've seen grow up. And I've invited Pastor Kenneth Morgan of the Church of the Living God, located at 3520 North Kelly Street, to come and bring our message. It's all yours, Pastor.
Good morning, Miss Luper. Happy to be here with you on your Thanksgiving message. Just happy to be able to come and share with you and to share with your listening audience on today. Thankful and grateful that you asked me to be a part of this and to come and be here with you on today. Just have a short little brief message for you on today, taken from the writings of Paul. And the first book of Thessalonians, the 18th verse says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." So many times in life we wait till Thanksgiving season to come and to celebrate our gratitude toward God. But I believe that every day ought to be a day of thanksgiving, that we should not just wait for a yearly celebration, but we need to reach down and look down within ourselves and look at the beauty of every day that God gives us. Paul here says that every day we ought to give thanks, and we need to be like Paul and give thanks every day. Some of the circumstances or some of the reasons that we can be able to give thanks every day is that we must realize that gratitude is not based on our circumstances in life, and that no matter where we're at in life, that we ought to be grateful and we ought to be thankful. One way that we can do this, and one of my first points, is that in order for us to have a attitude of gratitude or be grateful, we need to go through life and not ignore the daily blessings that God gives us. So many times we get caught up in such a commonplace in life that we feel that God just gives us things, and sometimes we don't recognize the daily blessings that he sends our way. We're thankful for strength. God didn't have to give us the strength in our bodies, but we're thankful that he did. We ought to be thankful for the breath that he has given us. We ought to be thankful for life. We ought to be thankful just that God sends the sunshine as well as the rain. So in order for us to be grateful every day and thankful every day, we need to not ignore the daily blessings that God has given us, but we need to be thankful in all things. Secondly, we must realize that we are not self-sufficient. That is, that we have not made it on our own, but it's only by God's grace that we are here, and that he has given us the strength. The only reason that we have the ability to do what we can do is because of God's grace. All of us must realize that if it wasn't for the Lord that has given us strength and given us the breath in our bodies, that we could not make it. We are not self-sufficient. All of us must realize that God being on our side, or because God is on our side and because he has invested in us, that we have strength. Thirdly, I would like to say that one of the reasons that we need to always be thankful, or would cause us to be thankful, is that we should never allow the blessings of others to make us despise our own. So many times we look at the blessings of others and things that other people have, and it causes us to take our eyes off of what God has done for us. And we must always remember what God has invested in us. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, we see King Saul. He was fine with all the praise that he received. He was fine with all the things that the people had given him until he saw what they had given King David. For it was after he saw the praise of David that he started to despise his own appreciation. And then after that, we see wickedness and wretchedness in his life. So we cannot allow the blessings of others to allow us to take our eyes off of what God has done for us. We need to be thankful that God has given us things, and we need to be thankful for where we're at even in our lives today. Paul here was a thankful man. He never despised where he was at. He never looked at the blessings of others and caused him to take his eyes off of what God had done for him. But in order to be thankful in all things, we must always cultivate the habit of giving thanks. We must be thankful every day like Paul. No matter what the circumstances, no matter where we are at in life, we must always be thankful. Paul said this is the will of God, that we be thankful in everything. I know and I realize that sometimes it's hard. Sometimes circumstance robs us, and we find ourselves sometimes in despair. But we always have to remember how far God has brought us. And we have to always remember who has kept us and who keeps us. So no matter where we're at in life, no matter what the circumstances, let us be grateful, not just on this upcoming week, but every day let's be grateful. Every day let's be thankful and always have a grateful attitude toward God. Paul was here. He's no matter what happens it was happening in his life, he was grateful. If Paul was shipwrecked, he was grateful. If he was being stoned, he was grateful. If he was being whipped or being beaten, he was still grateful to have suffered for the sake of Christ. Even if he was in prison, he was still grateful. We see Paul in a Philippian jail after being beaten all night long, but still he was grateful. He was so grateful that he was able to sing a song and he was able to praise God even in the midst of a jail. And when he was grateful, God blessed him and God rewarded him and allowed him to be set free. So this Thanksgiving season, I encourage everyone not to just wait until next week, but every day be grateful. Every day be thankful. For every day is a day of thanksgiving. Anytime the Lord has given us health, it may not be the best of health, but He has promised us a portion of our health. And we ought to be thankful for the portion of our health that He gives us. We ought to thank Him for the activity of our limbs, even though sometimes we feel that our strength is leaving our bodies, but we ought to be thankful for whatever He has given us and be grateful. So this Thanksgiving season and the seasons to come, let us always remember that God is on our side and that without God we are nothing, and that with Him all things are possible. God bless you, Miss Luper. I appreciate your time. I always enjoy your show, and may you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a happy years to come on your radio show. Thank you.
Thank you so very kindly. You've just heard the pastor of the Church of the Living God, and I would not close this part of it without you telling everybody who your father was.
I am the youngest son of the late Bishop R.S. Morgan, a good friend of yours, and it would be 2 years in February that he has passed. We miss him dearly. He was a great man, and we just thank God for his life.
This is the Clara Luper radio show, and on this Thanksgiving, I would like to thank God for the memory of people that I've known. On last Sunday, Mr. E. Sanders, a deacon at the Wildwood Baptist Church, fell dead at his church. He was singing in the upper room. His funeral was held last Thursday. Funeral services for my friend Mrs. Juanita Stevenson and the mother of one of the NACP Youth Council members will be held today at 11 o'clock at Corpus Christian Church. And ladies and gentlemen, we've just received word out here that Ernestine Carmichael is dead. Ernestine Carmichael is a member of the Allen Chapel AME Church, a member of the Amigos Club, and we've just received word out here that Ernestine Carmichael is dead. Now, thank God for memories. And if we seem emotional, we are. So hard to say goodbye to our yesterdays. I would like to thank this young minister for his message today, and I would like to ask you 3 questions. The first one, when did he say we should give thanks? The next question he said, who was the apostle that he continued to refer to? This is Clara Luper. Calvin, you've got to help me out because you can't get by. You better get by. Once again, yes. This is Clara Luper. Hello. This is Clara. Oh, I thank God for all of you.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I was calling to answer one of the questions.
Okay, answer.
The president was James Buchanan.
You are exactly right. And what is your name?
Rail Hobby.
Miss Hobby, give our young man your name and address and everything. Thank you so very kind. Thank you so very kind. Okay, I have some more questions, but I don't have but 1 minute. And if you miss it, you missed it, and you missed maybe a ham, maybe a turkey. I don't know. But I know one thing. I thank God for the pastor that has given us our Thanksgiving message. Calvin, it's birthday time.
Mom, it's close to birthday time. I have to say thank you, though, to baby Kenneth, to a young man that, it makes you appreciate Bible school and it makes you appreciate the good things that have happened in your life. I'm so proud of you, man. Keep up the good work. And thank you for a Thanksgiving message. But our time is running short, Mom.
You better get that telephone call.
I got to get this call. You want to get this call?
Yes, please.
Better get this call. Lex, someone get this call. Good morning, caller. Thank you for being a part of the Clara Luper Radio Show. Okay, I missed that call because of that. But this is a time of year, even though turkeys are sad.
Turkeys are sad, but I better say hello to the people in Bristol because tonight I will have the opportunity to speak in Bristol at that big banquet. I would like to thank Oklahoma City University for having a conversation with Clara Luper for an hour and a half. Now, Calvin, it's all yours.
Miss Eileen Barr, Mrs. Joy Hall, Mr. Roosevelt Milton. This song goes out especially to you all because you're having a great time.
And Betty Germany. Don't forget it. Calvin sing today.
Because I got to sing from the heart. Because Eileen Barr, Joy Hall, Roosevelt, Mama don't be saying that. And Betty Jean Germany, this goes out to happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Eileen. Happy birthday, Joy. Happy birthday, Roosevelt. And happy birthday, Betty G. And may you have many more.
Yes, Ernestine Carmichael was a wife of the late Wesley Carmichael, and Wesley Carmichael, a member of Fifth Street Baptist Church. We've done our best today, and I would like to thank you because Shelley wants her entire family to come down and have dinner with she and Mark on Thanksgiving.
And Sasha.
And I know all of you love me, but you didn't love me enough to invite me to dinner. This is Clara Luper saying, where is the governor? Where is the governor? I don't know where the governor is, but I know he wasn't out.
Invite the audience to go out to Langston and just look at them.
I've already done that. And those of you that want tickets to the Dred Scott story, call me. I call any of the NACP people because we're going to have a complete sellout in the next week. Clara Luper saying, I do love you, and stay out of trouble.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the Clara Luper Show. Join Sister Clara Luper here each and every Saturday from 9 until 10 at your number one gospel station, KTLV. And until next Saturday, may God bless you.
And the views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were not necessarily those of AM Radio 1220 KTLV.